In a previous post, I discussed the importance of seeing progress toward your goals and how important it is to sustaining your motivation. That post is predicated on the assumption that you're fully committed to your end goal and you base your daily actions on it. In this post, I'm going to add on to that idea and discuss how your perception of goal commitment and goal progress can significantly affect your motivation to continue working toward that goal. When you have a long-term goal, it's often necessary to break it down into milestones that keep you pointed in the right direction. You may also have multiple complementary efforts that all lead to the same end goal. An example of this would be a weight loss goal where you would simultaneously need to eat healthy and exercise regularly to give yourself the best chance of success. Whatever the goal, your commitment is dependent on the way you frame the actions that you take to achieve that goal. Professors Eilert Feshbach of the University of Chicago, Ying Zhang of the University of Texas at Austin, and Ravi Dar of Yale University conducted research on goal commitment that was published in the Journal of Personality and Social Psychology. In their research, they performed multiple studies that measured people's motivation to perform additional work toward an end goal based on the success or failure of their efforts on an initial subgoal. Psychologists and academics refer to an end goal as a superordinate goal, meaning the opposite of a subordinate or subgoal. The studies included scenarios where the additional work was either a continuation of the original subgoal or pursuit of a complementary one. Using our weight loss example, if the original subgoal was to exercise 4 times a week, the complementary subgoal would be dieting and vice versa. After success or failure on an initial subgoal, your brain interprets that outcome as a sign of either your commitment to the end goal or progress toward that end goal. And how you interpret success or failure on a subgoal is affected by where you focus your attention, meaning the subordinate goal or the superordinate goal. These goal commitment and progress mindsets are the two fundamental states that drive the different effects they have on motivation. Before I go on, I should clarify that everything in this discussion is predicated on the idea that your level of motivation fluctuates according to the way your brain interprets the outcome of your efforts. When you're truly committed to something, motivation is not an issue. In those situations, you will not stop, regardless of any obstacles you may encounter. But in reality, there are very few things in life that most people are actually committed to, which is why so many commitments get broken, whether to ourselves or others. What the researchers discovered is that unless you perceive all of your subgoals as supporting your commitment to a superordinate goal, subgoals are what they call substitutable. In this context, substitutable means that when you have success on any subgoal, your subconscious mind considers work on any other subgoal, or even more work on the same subgoal, unnecessary. Going back to our weight loss example, let's say you had a subgoal of working out 4 times this week. If you have a goal progress mindset and you accomplish that subgoal, your subconscious mind says, cool, now I don't have to eat healthy. And so your motivation to do so suffers accordingly. Have you ever done something like that? Sometimes it happens subconsciously, but often you even make conscious rationalizations that you'll make it up tomorrow or you can cheat on your diet just this time. On the flip side, if you have a goal commitment mindset and experience that same initial success, your brain interprets the outcome as proof that you truly are committed, which reinforces your motivation for any subgoal related to the end goal. Now, let's consider a situation where you do not accomplish your subgoal. If you have a goal progress mindset, when your brain recognizes your lack of progress, it responds by increasing your motivation to work even harder to compensate for your initial failure. With a goal commitment mindset, your brain interprets this failure as evidence that you really aren't committed to the end goal after all, and so you lose motivation for any subgoal related to it. So the conundrum uncovered by this research is that initial success increases your motivation for subsequent work when you have a goal commitment mindset, but has the opposite effect when you fail initially. The same dichotomy is true for a goal progress mindset, except in reverse. So how do you make sure you don't sabotage your motivation when you don't know whether you will succeed or fail? There is no magic solution for this catch-22, but in general, I believe that a bias toward a goal commitment mindset will yield the best results for the following reasons. 1, it will help you to identify your most important tasks each day by making sure they are in alignment with the end goal, which will keep you focused and make you more likely to succeed. 2, it will help you make smarter choices moment by moment each day when your end goal is top of mind, which will also make you more likely to succeed. 3, for certain kinds of end goals, you may be able to get away with not using subgoals. Just use your daily actions as a guide. I talk about the idea of daily actions in another post, and you can check it out here. This idea won't always be feasible due to the size and complexity of some end goals, but if you can, you don't have to worry about the downside of failing on a subgoal because you haven't defined one. 4, You can identify a core value that drives your actions toward achievement of the goal. That way, it is your self-identity, which doesn't change, that drives your motivation toward the end goal, rather than relying on commitment to the goal itself. 5. You can consciously define sub-goals in a way that maximizes your chance of success. And 6. It gives you flexibility, as your overall motivation for the end goal will provide motivation to start out with any of your sub-goals. As I've discussed in another post, there's no magic bullet when it comes to motivation in general. Human beings are complex creatures with many factors influencing motivation, both internal and environmental. But hopefully this post helps you understand how the way you structure your goals can significantly impact your likelihood of achieving them. If you like this video, please click the like button and share it with your friends. If you want to learn more about how you can supercharge your motivation, check out my website by clicking on the logo below. My goal is to help you with your motivation challenges. If you have a specific problem you would like help with, you can reach out to me directly at rich@themotivationmindset.com. Thanks for watching.